Hello, Gideon. Thanks for joining. Gideon is with us right now. He's from Ghana and he's a young scholar. He's a lecturer as well. Uh, he's also more focused about the subject of BRI in global politics, and that is why Gideon is with us. Hi, Gideon.
Hello, Alvina.
How
Yeah,
are
my
you?
I've been good. I've been amazing. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So today we're going to talk about BRI and its perceptions in Africa, particularly talking about West Africa. So tell us something. What Ghanaians think about BRI, and how do you personally see BRI at the moment?
Okay. All right. Um, I'll start by saying that BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, is a policy that is not so popular in Ghana as a result of its project being mounted. The projects are not so evident to the local people. But I would say the few who are aware of the BRI initiative are embracing it so well. Talking about the economic and the education aspects. BRI actually gained root in Africa. It dates back to the 1960s, where China had its first relation with Africa. But when we talk about the initiation of BRI, it started officially in 2013, where it was announced, and then most African countries joined. Now, I would want to take it from West Africa, and especially Ghana, where I am currently at the moment. Um, in Ghana, here, the relationship with China with respect to the Belt and Road Initiative has been a very cordial one over the years. Let me tackle it from these three aspects. I would want to talk about it from the education aspect, then I'll talk about it from the economic aspect and the socio political aspect. Good. Now, tackling the education aspect, you realize that there had been a massive improvement in the educational relationship between Ghana and China, granting a lot of scholarships, of which I am benefiting and you are
I
also
I know
benefiting.
that.
Exactly. So you realize that currently the youth in the country are beginning to embrace the wonders of the objectives of the BI. Are Yeah, they are beginning to appreciate it so well because a lot of people are being enrolled and they are being enlightened on the need for other countries to join the BRI as propounded by the Chinese government. Looking at it from the economic aspect too, you realize there had been infrastructural development in Ghana thanks to the BRI initiative. There had been massive economic improvements, talking about infrastructure development, construction, import and exports, a lot. So the very few who are aware of the BRI program are really appreciating it. So when we talk about the pros of the BRI, that is what I can say for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Gideon, as you mentioned about not just only economic or not perspective, which are just around infrastructure, you also mentioned the main element, which is education. Ghanaians are also getting facilitated in terms of education just because they're
Okay.
part of BRI, and
Exactly.
when we see this thing. That's literally amazing because there's nothing more precious than education and knowledge, and when this whole project, which was actually a transcontinental project, it's not only working to connect different continents in terms of economy, but it's also working to develop a people to people contact. It's also working to develop an educational purpose or knowledge. And I think the major reason today we both are connected is also because of BRI. So indeed,
Exactly.
BRI is definitely connecting people to people as well. But I don't know why people are so much scared of BRI, that there's still so many negative perceptions about BRI. When I was studying
Sure.
initially about the perceptions of BRI, I got to know that people believe that it's a debt trap. It's a not loan diplomacy, but it's genuinely a debt trap. And countries which are working with China will soon realize that China is going to be more aggressive and more dangerous hegemon than US, so on and so forth. I'm sure you must have gone through all of these controversies and these perceptions. How do you see that?
Yeah. Okay. Looking at it from the the local perspective, let me put it that way. You see, the average Ghanaian would automatically have a perception about any foreign initiative. That is per my little analysis made over some few months. And the reason is simple. Looking at the BRI project that has been initiated by the Chinese government, you realize that it is not really working in favor of the masses. When I talk about the masses, I'm talking about the locals. It's not really working in favor of the locals. Let me cite some few examples. Some few years ago, there were market structures erected by the Chinese government. And looking at the market structures that were erected, those buildings were strategically designed to work perfectly for people who are learned. Let me put it that way. But Ghana, as a developing country, we still battle with high rate of illiteracy. We still battle with high rate of illiteracy. So when it happens this way, it makes it difficult for the average Ghanaian to also cope. That is one setback of this whole BRI project being initiated in Ghana. There are lots more examples that we can cite. So yes, there are critiques. I've been hearing of that a lot more times. When you go out on the market, you hear people talking about the negative aspects of China's infiltration into our country, water bodies being distorted, and all as a result of the activities. But I think it is as a result of their pardon my language, but as a result of their ignorance about some of these things. That is why we are receiving a whole lot of critiques, not only from Ghana, but other West African
Around
countries
the
that
world. Yes.
I've made few researches about. And it all boils down to the fact that a lot of people do not have in-depth knowledge. I would say the transparency of this program is limited, is very blurred. So a lot of people don't have in-depth knowledge with some of these things that are going on. So that is one major setback. That is one major setback that China is facing when it comes to dealing with Ghana with in terms of its project. Yeah, that is one major setback. And not to forget, another setback is also about the perception of Chinese invasion. Africa at large is gifted with a lot of minerals, resources.
Hmm.
Good. Yes. And then I see from the angle that they would want to tap the resources and then give us what we want. But because of probably very bad or poor political structure or bad governance, let me put it that way, bad governance structure, which wouldn't favor the masses. So anytime there is that mutual relationship, people wouldn't get that clear picture, and it creates problems. So sometimes when you take a quick survey, you conduct some public opinion polls, you realize that a lot of people criticize some of these projects because it favors the few as against the majority. So that is also one setback. Yeah.
Okay, so Gideon, if we compare both of the perceptions, negative as well as positive ones, uh,
Okay.
which perception do you think dominates over Ghanaians? Do Ghanaians believe BRI is positive for them, or they perceive that it's negative, something negative for them?
Okay. All right. Generally, I may not be so accurate with my assertion here, but with a few facts gathered over some months, yeah, we started this research last year September. With a
Yes.
few facts gathered, you realize that majority of the Ghanaian population are having a darker picture about this BRI initiative.
And
That is
what
the
is the reason?
Exactly. They are having a darker side of the whole project, with the exception of the very few educated ones who are also into the who are also tapping from the benefits of BRI. Yes, so I would say that currently I've seen some few colleagues who are trying to be ambassadors of this whole BRI project, of which Richard is part, I am part, Afavi is part. Yeah, we are trying to enlighten people on the objectives and the importance of we as a country joining the BRI project. Yeah. So
Okay.
generally, the
And
perception of Ghanaians is yet to be reconstructed. Yes, because a lot of people have negative thoughts about this whole BRI project. Yeah.
And do you think if it's more of a negative, it's vague, Ghanaians are still not aware why they even think negative about it? So that is why their perception needs to be reconstructed. And what is the main reason that you see Ghanaians' perception is going negative for BRI?
Exactly, exactly. The main reason is that, let me tackle that one first. The main reason is that um, there's no intensive enlightenment. There is no in-depth enlightenment about this whole program. For instance, the average Ghanaian have this mentality that the Chinese grant us loans, and in exchange for such offer granted us, they also come here and misuse our resources. Do you
Okay.
get a picture? Very
Yeah, I
good. That
got
is
it
that is the
because
perception of
I
the
can
average Ghanaian.
relate to I can exactly relate to it somewhere in our province. People
Okay.
usually relate that, but that province is very, very rural, and there's nothing which our government can do when your government is not capable of doing it. What's
Exactly,
bad for
exactly,
somebody else
exactly,
doing it,
exactly.
getting
You
money for
see,
that? Yeah.
recently, China granted Ghana a loan of 1.6 billion, if I'm quoting the figures right. Now, in exchange, they also requested that they have 20% access to our bauxite reserve. Now, people started criticizing about this whole initiative because they had this weird feeling that the Chinese is trying to take advantage, on due advantage. Let me put it that right, on due advantage of bauxite. But look at a developing country like Ghana. We are still learning how to tap into bauxite. Currently, China is almost a superpower. If I would say it's
It is.
I might even rate it the number one superpower some few years to come. They have all the technological advancements, they have the skilled personnel to work on some of these resources. And yet, as a developing country, sometimes we sit and watch these resources idle. So, to me, I think they are just trying to play a win win game where we give you what you want, you give us what we want. That is a win win game and it's fair. But then to the average Ghanaian, this becomes very difficult to sink in. That is one major problem. That is one major problem. Yeah.
Okay, me and Natalia, we were talking about Poland. So she discussed that one main issue is the form of government of China. That China is a communist. They have the communism, and the form of government which they have is based on communism. So that is why Polish people are a bit scared because Polish people don't have much good experience in the past with communism. One and
Okay.
number two, they're obviously inclined more towards US bloc, and European Union's first major partner is US, and then second trade partner is China. But still, if there's an option of US and China, they will still go with US. So these are few things. That is why uh, like Polish people are still inclined towards US, and there are some negative perceptions about BRI. Now, coming back to the positive perceptions as well, she also said that, which obviously are positive ones in my country as well, and in fact, that applies to every other country. BRI will bring us infrastructure, air travel time, trains, and finances, education, people to people contact. Civilization of Silk Road, so on and so forth. All of these points she mentioned, they are like positive ones in terms when we see it through Poland. And this also applies to Pakistan. How do you see that positive things or positive perceptions are which are presently in Ghana? What are
Okay.
these particular positive points? Just
All
enlighten
right.
that.
Okay. All right. So let me try and then chip in the political stand of Ghana. Okay. Ghana, we practice the multi-party system. We practice the
Okay.
multi-party system, yes, and then we also practice the presidential system, where we have a president and a cabinet. Yeah. Now, you realize that it is totally different from communism as practiced in China. So
Exactly.
sometimes it becomes a problem for Ghana as a country. Now let me throw more light on this. When a country practices multi-party system, although it's having its own advantages, it gives room for diverse opinion. So party A would decide to embrace wholly
So
this
it's going to
BRI
be like
project.
government and opposition, right? Government
Exactly,
and
exactly,
opposition. Yeah, the
exactly.
same like
And
we
here
have.
lies the case. We wouldn't have just one opposition, but we will have the opposition being grouped into several components. I hope you get it. Yes, because currently in my country, we have over six opposition parties.
Yes, we do even have multiple opposition parties.
Exactly, exactly. So
And
if
giving tough time to the government for no reason, not any productive
exactly,
reason.
exactly. So if the current government decides to embrace the BRI, you realize that the opposition might not have genuine reasons to oppose, but just because they are in
Exactly the same.
opposition, they will
Yes.
just oppose. That is a problem. But to wrap it up, I think moving forward, the sensitization program needs to be intensified. Yes, people need to be oriented on some of these things, because personally I've been doing that, and I think a few others to also join and then do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, I completely agree with you. And
Okay.
as you said, that opposition will definitely try to take out something, even if there's
Sure, sure.
nothing, because they have to oppose government, and they'll do that. But that's very unfortunate. In Pakistan, opposition never played its role of a genuine opposition. They
Exactly.
just criticize government for the sake of criticism. They have no potential reasons to criticize government, and that's very unfortunate.
Yeah,
And now coming back to Pakistan opposition, what they had been doing currently in last 3 years, that's literally alarming. Like they criticize China for being the next hegemon, China being the next country which they will put us in a debt trap. They're not doing a proper loan diplomacy, and they'll snatch our Gwadar port, and they'll just enter to our country. They'll buy so many properties, and they'll overtake our country. So many stupid and vague arguments coming in from opposition parties, and that's very weird. But unfortunately, as we were talking about initially in our conversation, as you mentioned, that one of the reasons why BRI transcontinental major project is being perceived negative is ignorance, right? And I also
yeah.
believe that it's because of ignorance. But there's another element as well, which you've missed. That is the area where people are not ignorant, but they are doing it deliberately to create propaganda, to create conspiracy. They work on any agenda. So we also have those people in Pakistan. Do you have that people in Ghana as well?
Exactly, exactly. We have those we call them conscious propaganda activists. Yes,
Okay.
exactly, exactly. When you study the political system in the country, that's how we refer to them, the conscious political propaganda activists. You see, they have the tendency to um destructively criticize whatever policy that would be initiated. Yes, we have that problem as a country too. We have that problem. Yeah,
Okay. So it means scenarios almost everywhere same. We have negative perceptions, we have positive perceptions. We have two category of people in every country: pro-Chinese, anti-Chinese. Those who are Sinophilic, they definitely studied in detail about China, that they're
exactly.
not opting the road of hegemonization like
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
great powers did. And those who are Sinophobia, who actually have Sinophobia, maybe they're ignorant, or the second reason is they're so much influenced with West or US that they do not want to have a sigh of relief, and they still want to have a hegemon on them, and they just want to be treated like slaves. Anything else you want to add, Gideon?
Okay, all right. What I would want to add is that you see, those who are privileged to have a fair idea of this whole BRI, is up to us for such an enlightenment program. Yeah, we should just sensitize people on the need, because either than that, whatever good that is to come out of this initiative wouldn't materialize, and especially developing countries will be at the losing end. You understand? So that is what I would say, that as time goes on, we should try and then publicly educate people on the need to embrace this program. And I hope you'll be doing that in Pakistan too. Already you've started. I realize you
We're
started.
doing it together. Now we're doing
Exactly,
it
exactly,
together.
exactly. So basically, I think that's the central theme here. We just need to educate people on the need to embrace this initiative. Yeah.
Okay, that was nice talking to you, and we're going to discuss more about BRI. We just started off with BRI and perceptions, contemporary perceptions in the world. We're done with a perception from Europe, and particularly we spoke about Poland. Now we're done with Africa and West Africa, and now we're going to talk to some other state representatives as well. And I'm sure in the end, we're going to have so much content that we can develop more about BRI, and it's not the ending of the this particular subject. Obviously
Okay.
it's just a start, and we're going to dig out more from it. Like, we'll talk about different propagandas, we'll talk about different organizations being operated to disrupt this project, and we're going to talk about a lot on this. So I think our viewers are going to love this new idea that we're going to do series on BRI, and it's just a start, and I'm loving it. Hope you also loved it.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. I love it so much. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
All
Gideon.
right.
Bye. Take care.
Okay. Bye. All right. Thank you.